Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolas Gemio. I work at B-Lab Europe, and I'm delighted to talk to you today at this Impact Measurement and Management Summit. I would be even more delighted to be there with you in person in Ankara, but I've heard that there might be one or two of the Turkish certified B Corps in the room, so that makes me very happy. My goal over the next few minutes is to try to keep your attention as I introduce you to the B Corp movement, B-Lab standards, and how they come to life. For those of you who don't know it, the B Corp movement is a global growing movement of individuals shifting our economic system from profiting only a few to benefiting all, from concentrating wealth and power to ensuring equity, from extraction to regeneration, and from prioritizing individualism to embracing what we call interdependence. At B-Lab, as an organization, our vision is that of an inclusive, equitable, and regenerative economic system for all people and the planet. We know it's a very ambitious vision, and that's why we have to tackle it through different angles. Our first strategy is to drive the adoption of sustainability standards. That's our main goal as an organization. Second, we certify companies. In other words, we verify the impact that they have measured. Third, we broadcast business as a force for good. We share stories of positive impact from B Corps and non-B Corps. Fourth, we put resources into and we hire people for catalyzing policy change, so influencing policymaking so that one day all business has to be a force for good by law. And fifth, more broadly, we develop networks of local, regional, and global communities for change. And that's also what we're doing here today, just by coming together. Who we are actually a network of organizations. The standards development happens at B-Lab Global, but there is a network of global partners across 6 different continents, and we spread the standards, and to some extent, we support organizations in their implementation. This is our team in Amsterdam at the B-Lab Europe office. The reason why I show this on screen is because we are there for you. We are the point of contact for all organizations in Turkey that are using the B Impact Assessment or pursuing B Corp certification. But enough about us. Let's dive into what makes B-Lab's standards different. The standards are comprehensive and positive. They're comprehensive because they span across 5 different impact areas, so they're quite holistic. Those areas are governance, workers, community, environment, and customers. And the standards are positive because the main focus is on rewarding companies for positive practices, as opposed to penalizing them for not implementing certain practices. And this is very much in line with our philosophy of continuous improvement. They are standardized and adaptive. Standardized because the same key topics apply for every company, but depending on where they are incorporated in the world, their sector and their size, it's also quite adaptive. So there are more than 100 different versions of the standards and the assessment. The standards are objective and dynamic. They are developed through elaborate stakeholder consultation and overseen by an independent advisory council. And they're dynamic because they're continuously evolving. The last version was launched in January 2019 with significant improvements to the framework. Last but not least, we think of B-Lab standards as inspiring and educational. Inspiring because they're rigorous, they're ambitious. There has been more than 150,000 companies using the assessment, but out of those, only 7,000 have successfully achieved B Corp certification. And the standards are educational because, as I always say to companies, the more they use them, the more ideas they will get about things that they can improve on. And very often these are things that they can implement right away. Work has been done on understanding the differences and similarities between B-Lab standards and other standards. In particular, I can recommend different pieces of content around the complementarity between GRI standards and B-Lab standards, and you can find that on our website. As I said a moment ago, the standards are continuously evolving. The last iteration started last year. We opened up a public consultation in September. There has been different phases, and that consultation is now coming to an end. And next year, we will see new standards and a new assessment coming to life for all organizations. In this consultation process, we have been speaking to more than 50 external topical experts. We have been speaking to 450 B Corps covering all regions, sizes, and sectors. The consultation has also been open to non-B Corps. We have been speaking to standards advisory groups covering 6 geographical regions, and of course the Standards Advisory Council, which is the council that governs B-Lab standards, and there are 15 or so people in it. None of them work at B-Lab, and I encourage you to look it up and see their backgrounds and profiles, because they are very impressive. All of this comes to life in the B Impact Assessment, the free online tool that B-Lab makes available for organizations. The philosophy behind it is that we can't improve on what we don't measure. And that's why the first thing that the assessment does is obviously allowing organizations to measure across the 5 different impact areas. We're talking about around 200 questions. It also allows for benchmarking. Organizations can compare their performance against the performance of other organizations in the same sector, size, or region. And all the features are geared to facilitate continuous improvement. None of this would matter without the community of plus 7,000 B Corps around the globe and how they come together, how they collaborate, innovate, create opportunities for each other. There are 7 of these B Corps in Turkey at the moment, and a few others coming up in the certification review process. How do we safeguard the integrity of our standards? We have different mechanisms. The first one is a disclosure questionnaire, a questionnaire that all companies have to fill in along with the assessment in order to submit for certification. Second, risk reviews and background checks that are run on all companies pursuing certification. We also have what we call eligibility reviews and controversial industry statements. We encourage organizations from all industries to use the assessment, but not all industries can pursue certification at present. There are additional baseline requirements for companies with very high revenues. For example, the requirement to make their assessment answers publicly available online. And all of this repeats every 3 years in the recertification cycles. Our last mechanism is a public complaint procedure, which is very thorough and transparent, and you can read all about it on our website. To end on a positive note, I invite you to visit videochange.com, which is the platform for thought leaders and active participants of the community of people using business as a force for good. It's our blog, and maybe, hopefully, your organization will be featured there soon. Let's get to work. I wish you the very best in your impact journey ahead. I encourage you to sign up to one of our upcoming open webinars. I would love to connect with you there, and enjoy the rest of your conference.